Chapter 11. The Future is Ready.
I was certainly happy that school had finished, but university seemed an alien world. The first lectures built an understanding that the job of the lecturer was to spout ideas that were relevant to them or their history, but had very little to do with the world that I was keen on building. They were overly gratified to hear the sound of their own voices and celebrated their ideas with way too much gusto. The first year of about 80 people filled the lecture hall, so interaction was too difficult, and it pushed the lecturer to just keep on talking. The whole format was about the hopeful transfer of information, and for me learning had been very different, and was about the discussion and the kinesthetic or action learning. Certainly there were smaller group work, but I found it hard to incorporate the lecture into the way we took the projects, as if there was little overlap. There was a sense that engineering was a religion, and that sitting at the master's feet was going to be the path to the future where conflicting ideas were obviously wrong. I'm certainly not against learning, but I had been directing my own learning for such a long time, while through the mentorship with Sebastian, that the idea of curriculum seemed like a slow, generic walk through someone else's idea of history and making in the past. There was a range of students though. Few seemed to show much independence, as if being there was going to somehow make them engineers, and not a place to question everything and develop their own ideas. There was a lot of note-taking and a strong push to be in the eye of the lecturer. I know there were really intelligent people there, but I started to question the types of intelligences, or at least the application of it. I kept it up for weeks and got incredibly busy in keeping up with the schedule, as if the workload was the challenge, not the learning. I was losing interest, and there was a growing weight of it being a real chore that might turn into a prison. I was formulating the future of education, where all information was available and it was up to the student to find it. That would allow everyone to move at their own pace, as well as creating independence in the learner, if they had any. I did like a couple of the students who showed a fascination for programming and hung out with them. I wasn't sure how I was going to survive here. I sort of thought for a minute that I had been led astray by Sebastian, in that he had ruined my ability to follow curriculums and be diligent about the slow accumulation of knowledge. My independence had been set alight to play with, and everything else seemed like I had to give up who I was. I looked forward to Saturday afternoon, and I made sure that I did get up to date so that I wouldn't have to say I was too busy. When Sebastian came in, he looked done in. "What's wrong? You look really worn. Is there something I can get for you?"
Leon, can we just sit on the lounge for a while? I need to talk to you today. I have no energy for much else. Today I want to talk about the future. Not mine, but everyone's. Telling or predicting the future has been a real game for those who could have a hand in it, but a very difficult one to get right. Certainly there is little that most people can do. Tell me some of your predictions.
Well, I'm unsure if AI is reversible without the economy crashing. AI will bring about a change where we humans will feel somehow overtaken by the incredible successes of what AI can generate. It will take most jobs and leave the humans to a life where they have to rethink what life is. Which is funny, as AI will be doing the same thing from a different perspective. I think the universal salary might be on the cards, but as big business is going to be in control over AI, their profits will be the most important, so the rich will become incredibly more rich and the poor will be increasingly grief-stricken, without a way to work and with a minimum payment from the government in their disrupted lives. The general intelligence will be achieved in AI without being given enough ethical restraints in the pursuit of profit will eventually find humans counter to the process of profiting and maybe wipe us out. Climate change may wipe out a great horde of humans in enormous numbers and disrupt the lives on the planet in ocean levels, severe weathers, bushfires. That will be a great personal burden, if not distinction events for many. That may degrade the life of many and send us back to survival mode. But some twist of fate, it may also be that AI can be put to use where man has not been able to see or too short-sighted to act upon for climate revival.
Well, I asked for it. Yes, AI will be invasive, and man will have to find new reasons for living beyond being an employee that hasn't really been satisfying for anyone as well. The new ways to be human will develop, sure, but I'm still hoping that the human ethics of AI will be embedded to ward off general intelligence. Beyond AI, but maybe because of it, there will be more problems in the world. There was such an optimism years ago that has faded. Man is losing their way and losing the ideas of progress, intuitiveness and adventure in the main, as everything will be provided by the mechanism beyond their control. It seems like in the future there will be no need to be striving for the sense of new. The future will be there with us. But the future is yours, Leon. You are the future and I am the past. In truth, you have inherited the things that I have avoided or thought I had no control over, and you have to deal with that. How do you see your role in the future?
Big questions. The idea of loss of adventure seems a pessimistic statement, and as an optimist, it doesn't seem as if there's limits to dreams. Sure, a limit to needs, or in part satisfaction, but in all certainty, to me, there is absolute drive to strive to be adventurous, and the very least for myself, if not for the whole race.
You can be the shining light to make people realize that it is their right, in their essence, to be adventurous, whatever form that takes. At the very least, showing them that their lives could be a great thing. I hope you are successful.
I could tell that Sebastian was pushing himself against a nearly overarching want to sleep, or at least to rest, but seemed driven.
What do you think your role is in the future?
There is a life I see that just happens, and one where I make it happen, the designed life. And I know you've been talking about that one. The last couple of years you've pushed me to learn how to lead groups, and with that opens up projects that be quite impactful. Even though I've been focused on the arts and their impact on the audience, the changes in those limited number of people's lives has been limited. I'm trying to be logical here, but what else I have worked out is that the new things come up all the time. But I know you want to be focused. I think some sort of interactive game to give experiences to save the world from AI and climate change. A game could be a weak change agent, but if it could be really innovative or interactive, it could bring people together and build an understanding of the issues and highlight the processes of change. I certainly don't want to be a politician or a banner-waving protester. As for AI, I'm quite concerned, but I don't have a plan against it. Maybe I could look to redirecting the adventure back into the people who no longer have a need to be employed. Help build their adventure. Sebastian offered quietly,
Just remember that you are able to achieve things that are incredible and beyond anything you have thought up. And if you use design thinking, you can get to the issues and focus your energy in the right way. By the way, how did you go with the game coding bits I gave you?
well, I worked out a lot of it, but it is a big job still. It has given me hope to be able to achieve at least some of the game with it, and I have a few people interested in coming on board, so thanks. But how about you, Sebastian? You seem to be suffering a bit. Is there nothing to elevate your fatigue?
Just another example that the future is not all that it's cracked up to be.
With that, he said his goodbyes and shuffled to the window, and for the first time activated the time machine inside the room, which created a glow bubble and disappeared.